good for you?
It's fine. Good Ner Shabbos. Good Chodesh. For the past several weeks, the women of the Ohel Sarah main group have taken upon themselves the mitzvah of Hafreshes Challah as a schus for refuah shlema for Chaya Rezel Bas Dina B'soch Shar Chole Yisrael. This past week, while davening b'tzibur, the Amen group had the schus of witnessing a nes nigla. In response to that open miracle, Maishi Katz, Raquel's husband, wrote the following letter, which I was asked to read to you this morning. With thanks to Hashem, Raquel has miraculously begun her long road to recovery. We would like to thank everyone who have davened and done Maasim Tovim on her behalf. We are still in desperate need for a full and complete refuah. In other words, we can see the refuah. We need the shlema. We know your tefillos can bring this about. Please continue to daven v'chaya rezel bas dina b'soch shar chole Yisrael. Thank you again for your outpouring of love, concern, and tefillos. Good Shabbos, good Chodesh, Maishi Katz, and family. As we know, Hafreshes Challah is a mitzvah that is designated specifically to the Jewish woman. Chazal say it is an eis ratzon, an opportune time for tefillah. And if any of you have read this week's 5 Towns Jewish Times, Rabbi Pesach Krohn is saying there is no one who davens like the women of the 5 Towns. I will begin by saying the bracha, and I will have everyone in mind. It will follow by the first Yehirat song. I will then pause, giving everyone the opportunity for silent prayer and bakashos. I will then say the second Yehirat song. We will conclude, upon Lori's request, with the singing, with our help from Debbie Izikowitz, of Ani Mamin. Lori's message is Ani Mamin Be'emuna Shlema. Her Shlema will be when all of Gans Yisrael receives the Yeshuas they're davening for. And her Emuna is that through the koach of the tefillah of women, we can bring the Mashiach b'mheira b'yameinu. Amen. I have to tell you, whenever I do, or Malki does, or Esther does challah for Hafreshes Challah in this room, the dough rises straight to Shemayim. So our tefillos have to rise straight to Shemayim. Or whenever all the other women, Mimi, I don't want to exclude anybody who's done the challah. Esty. Do you want me to bring this back up here? Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Asher Kiddeshanu Mitzvosa V'Tzivanu, Lahafrish Challah Min Ha'isa. Amen. Hare Zu Challah. Yehi Ratzon Lefanecha, Adonai Eloheinu V'Lehe V'Seinu. Shibana Beis Hamikdash b'mheira b'yameinu, v'sein chalkeinu b'sarasecha, v'sham na'avodcha b'yira, kimei olam u'kshanim kamarios, v'arval Adonai mincha. I now have the special schus of introducing our guest speaker. Came on a very special Rosh Chodesh, Mrs. Orit Esther Riter. And I'd also like to welcome her mom. Your tefillos are unbelievable because this is Mrs. Mashiach. I know you'll share much nachas from your Orit, who is a noted author, lecturer, and who contributes the daily dose of inspiration and Emuna to Aish. And we have been waiting for this year. She is absolutely phenomenal. So sit back, fasten your seatbelts, and help me welcome Mrs. Orit Riter. I have to take the
beautiful. So much. You really inspired me with the way that you did the hafashah. It's very special. You gave me such a good format to start coming.
Thank you. Do you live in this neighborhood?
I live in Fairlawn. I mean, I live in Ramat Bet Shemesh, but I'm in Fairlawn.
So you're familiar with Shir Smiles?
Sure. We're neighbors.
Please give a love and
Chazdei Shamayim, Chazdei Shamayim. Ah, what an honor. I have to sully in this moment just for a moment. I am so honored to be here. Right now I'm going to have to hold back the tears. Let's start out with a nice dedication. May all that I say and all the chizuk that we gain bring nachad ruach to Hashem Yitbarach, serve as a schut for Klal Yisrael, and invoke rachamei shamayim for all those in need of yeshuot and nechamot, amongst them Chaya Rezel bat Dina. Kol cholei amcha bet Yisrael. Amen. Thank you, the Martin family. Thank you, Rebbitzin Fuchs. Thank you all for coming. I'm shaking because I'm so honored to be here.
I'm shaking with you.
I don't know if anybody really knows a little bit about my story. You may wonder why I was sitting all the time. I say Baruch Hashem because Baruch Hashem 10 years ago I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, with MS. And my husband always says, I'm a trained chef by profession, and my husband always says, you know what Hashem did? He gave you MS so that you can teach the daily dose of Emuna. And so I want to thank Hashem publicly for the schus to carry this machala, that I'm able to stand here and learn and teach Emuna together with all of you and all the beautiful Bnot Yisrael that I have the schut to visit and see in the United States, in Canada next week, Be'ezrat Hashem, in Eretz Yisrael, all around the world. Who would ever think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us such nisyonot, and how much we can grow from them, and how much He really extracts us. He really extracts the greatness from us through the nisyonot. I do want to mention that I have, Baruch Hashem, the schut to bring my books here. It's the first book. I'm working on the second book. First book is Turnaround, 180 Degrees in 180 Days. It's a 6-month Emuna program that Be'ezrat Hashem is a real program that you start off with day one, and God willing, by the 180th day, you feel like you've at least taken one step in the Emuna journey. Like me, I'm still traveling. And there's also information here on book dedications for book number 2, Turn Around Your Health, which is going to be a book which is partially on my story, how MS helped me turn around my life and has helped me be here today amongst the other places that I visit, Be'ezrat Hashem, and teach Emuna. I also have information on an upcoming trip that we're doing to Uman, Be'ezrat Hashem again. We just got back. We're doing another one 2 weeks before Rosh Hashanah. There's information here as well. Chodesh Av. Today we're going to discuss tears, exile, and Tikkun. As the pasuk goes in Megillat Eicha, Eicha yashva badad. If you take the word Eicha and you take the word yashva, you can divide the word into Ech Hashem, Yashuv Hashem. How is Hashem going to return? And the answer is badad. Bet is bechol, dalid is drachecha, and the other dalid is da'ehu. The way that we bring back HaKadosh Baruch Hu is when we get to know Him in all of His ways. That is how we uplift ourselves from this galus and bring ourselves to Geula. Our private Geula and our collective Geula. Badad also, the Netziv says, that badad also means to separate. We should be able to separate ourselves from all the rest of the world and recognize the holy, godly value and spark that every single one of us has. Let me explain to all of us so that we can understand what it means to carry a Jewish soul. Now, usually you go into a supermarket and you see this big overflowing basket and setup of tomatoes and cucumbers, big, huge, large quantities. And then you go over and you look over to the side and suddenly you see a little basket. And it says in the basket, hand-picked tomatoes. Very small little basket. The big, amazing abundance of tomatoes sells for, and I'm going to give a guess here, 99 cents a pound. At least in my days. I don't know. All right? You wish, right? And yet the hand-picked ones are selling for $10.99 a pound. Well, guess what? You are those hand-picked tomatoes. And you're selling for a lot of money. Because Hashem chose every single one of us. But not just chose. He hand-picked every single one of you to be part and parcel of His Jewish people. You are His child. Every single one of us is a HaKadosh Baruch Hu's child. And He literally handpicked us. So with that understanding, I'd like for us to just get a taste of what I'm about to, Be'ezrat Hashem, learn and teach together with you about the idea of being close to our Av, being close to our Abba. What is it that we're supposed to be doing this month? The idea is that this month we should be able to identify with the pain of the Shekhinah. We're supposed to bind our tears, uplift them, and bind them to the sorrow of the Shekhinah. And we are given an opportunity, as we're going to continue to speak today, you're going to see the amazing opportunities that every hour of these 9 days offer us to be able to see the chesed messages that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends us even in the month of Av. It's all concealed. Rabbi Nachman teaches us, Zatzal, that everything in the world is either concealed good or revealed good, but it's all good. And I tell women time after time that even tough love is love. And that's very important for us to remember. To judge, more important, let's first start with judging Hashem in favor. Understanding that there's a good reason and a good purpose and hidden good in everything that we're experiencing. So what is Hashem? How do we express our sorrow? What are we supposed to do this month? Well, Chazal bring down that if there's any time that it's important to cry during these 9 days, it's important to cry. So let's understand a little bit about tears and what does it mean to cry. Rabbi Bachya Zatzal brings down that if you look at the letters Dim'ah, tears, Dalet Mem, Ayin Hey, they are all open letters. And the reason why they're open letters is it's through the tears that we are able to open our heart. Tears profess to ourselves and to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we are brokenhearted. Let's understand the difference between brokenheartedness and sadness, because I don't want anyone falling into sadness. Again, Rabbi Nachman brings down, there's a profound difference between brokenheartedness and sadness. Brokenheartedness means, I am broken. I once was whole, now I'm broken, and Hashem, I need you to put me back together again. I need you to fix me up. I'm fragmented. I'm confused. I'm in darkness. I don't know what where the next step is taking me. Look what's going on, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Look what's going on in the world. I'm broken about it. I don't want to accept reality the way that it is. Put it back together. Sadness, on the other hand, and by the way, brokenheartedness means that I yearn and I crave to become whole again. Whereas with sadness, I succumb to my reality, I plop myself on the couch, and I don't do anything about it. And I watch my life pass me by. And that is the difference. Brokenheartedness is a place of motivation and ratzon and longing to be fixed. When you do have that dim'ah, and we are privileged to have those tears, those holy tears, then we're taught that the word bichiyah, crying, bet, chaf, yud, hey, will equal, is what ends up happening is those tears bring about the result of bishimcha yigilun kol hayom. As if we let our tears come out, particularly during the next 9 days, then what ends up happening is they sweeten the judgments. They essentially are water that put out the fire of the averot, the personal and the collective averot of Am Yisrael. How important it is to let out some tears and Be'ezrat Hashem through them sweeten up the judgments. There's a sefer called Sefer HaYetzirah that the author is unknown. Some say that it's Abraham Avinu. In any case, it's a mystical book that is very difficult to understand. But what is written there are profound messages of the energies and the tikkun, particular tikkun of every single month. So this month, the month of Av, there's by the way that we learn the energy of every single month, we are told that there's a sense of the month, there's an organ of the month, there's a letter of the month, there's a tribe of the month, and so on and so forth. The letter of this month, Av, is Tet. Tet looks like a womb. Tet is also 9, the 9 months of pregnancy. Tet, the first time Tet is written in the Torah, is Tov. That describes the idea of when Hashem created light, it was Tov. In other words, in this month, there is Tov. There is goodness. And soon we're going to see how that is hidden and how that is brought about. What does it mean there's good? Again, we just said before, there's revealed good and there's concealed good. What it means is, I have a choice. I can follow the path of Rabbi Nachum Ish Gamzu, or I can follow the path of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Nachum Ish Gamzu, he said, Gamzu Latova. In other words, he saw the good right in front of him always. That depicts the idea of revealed good. And yet, you have Rabbi Akiva, who says, Kol man de'avid, Rahmana latav avid. All that I see is all, everything is for the best. It means that right now, I may not see it, but I know that there is benefit behind what it is that I'm experiencing. How do we go about and do that? The sense of this month is hearing. Funny enough, the tribe of this month is Shimon, Lishmoa. What does it mean to hear? Funny enough that the last month, the sense of the month was to see, was seeing. Last month seeing, this month hearing. What does it mean to hear? Rabbi Akiva Tatz Shlita brings down an amazing teaching, and he says, when you hear something, you don't actually hear everything together at once. Even as I'm speaking, you are piecing the words together and understanding a concept by slowly putting the words together in your mind and getting together, forming together a concept. Just like when you go and you hear music. You hear note by note by note, and eventually you have music playing in your mind. You put that together. And that's why music plays differently in everybody's mind, because it depends on how you piece it together. So when HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that the ideal way of serving me, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, is Shema Yisrael, to hear Israel. What does it mean I have to hear? How am I supposed to serve you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, through hearing? Because Hashem says, you're only seeing every time a little bit and little piece of the whole puzzle. Your job, our job as Jewish people, is to piece everything together and put it together with the understanding, acquire Emuna vision, and see the bigger picture. To understand that we are here right now fixing up 5,776 years of tikkunim. Every single one of us has been here before. We're recyclable. We've all been here before. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm bringing you back into this world. Last time you came into this world, you were a guest. I welcome you into my world. And guess what? You left your room a little bit untidy. You didn't clean up. You didn't fix your bed. You didn't take out the garbage. You left some stuff on the floor. And so I'm inviting you back to be my guest again. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is bringing us back into this world to be his guest again. Even though last time we weren't a very good guest and we left it messy, this time we're not. Hashem says, I'm bringing you back so that you can fix up and come to a place of completion. The word tikkun, switch the letters around, nituk, separation. The idea of a tikkun, which every single one of us is here to do, is to combine and unite in the oneness of Hashem. How do we do it? Through the Shema. I open up the paper, I hear what's going on in Alaska, and I say, okay, Hashem, what's the message for me? I understand that in everything that I'm going through in my life, there is a message. There's a hidden diamond in the pile of mud that someone left in front of my door. And my job is to roll up my sleeves and get to work to find that diamond. That is the job. That is the job, particularly during this month when everything is hidden under so many layers of dinim, of judgment. How do we elevate the dinim? How do we get to see the goodness, that which HaKadosh Baruch Hu tries so hard to make us see? One of the things that we're taught in Sefer Dvarim is that the Churban, every person's Churban, private Churban, and the Churban, unfortunately, of Klal Yisrael, began with one pasuk, one message that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving all of us, and that is, Asher lo avadeta et Hashem Elokecha b'simcha u'betuvat levav. Because you didn't serve Hashem with joy and a good heart. How am I supposed to be in joy? How am I supposed to be b'simcha? So right now, we are in a reality called ayin. The Ramchal brings down that there are two realities for the Jewish person. There's the reality of yesh, and there's a reality of ayin. The reality of yesh is there's an avoda that I have to complete. And as we all probably experience, many, many times we're able to actually do the avoda and actually see the result from our hishtadlus and our input. Yet some of us, a lot of us, do an avoda and we're in an existence called ayin, meaning we try to bring about the results and the results are just not happening. So the Ramchal brings down that at the end of days, the mitziut, the reality of the Jewish people, is going to be ayin. Ayin meaning I'm going to do, and I'm going to do, and I'm going to say Nishmat, 40 days times 3 times, and I'm going to, do whatever I can to try to improve, and I'm going to work really hard, and I'm going to try to increase my kavana, and I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to take anger management 1, 2, 3 up into 110, and I promise I'm not going to yell anymore. And we're not going to see necessarily the results. So we have to understand that so long as we're in galut, there isn't a perfected state where we can always, sometimes we do, Be'ezrat Hashem we will. In particular, we're going to see the end result with the refuah shlema of Chaya Rezel Batina. Amen. But know that if you don't see the results of all that you're doing, remember that we are in a mitziyut, in a reality of ayin, which means that we are there to do our job. But how am I supposed to be besimcha because of that? Because in our generation, we are here to wait for Mashiach and accept the circumstances of our lives. I always teach that Emuna is about accepting today and praying for a better tomorrow. I accept where I am right now. Right now, at 10 o'clock in the morning, Rosh Chodesh Av, sitting here, I've got surahs like everyone else. But yet I accept it. There's 3 levels to accepting. I can accept it just like that in my sechel. I can accept it with love, with my heart. And I can accept it with simcha, with my body. Let's start out with first accepting in our minds and then move forward. But the idea is to accept the circumstances of our lives only because of one reason. One reason. Because when I embrace my reality, when what's called the Bala Sulam Zatzal brings down the concept of hugging my reality. When I hug my reality hugs me back. And therefore, I can work with my reality to try to uplift myself, use it effectively, like the contractions, right? You're not supposed to fight your contractions. You're supposed to breathe, focal point, breathe, 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 right? To work with your body to get that baby out. Work with your reality to change your reality, but don't fight against it. And be complaining and negative emotions and being angry. Again, we're not angels. We're all on the path of perfection. None of us is perfect. We are in an imperfect world. But the idea is to work towards that reality where I will be able to piece things together in my life with the trust. And what's embedded in these months? Av, Emuna is for the Aleph, and Bet is Bitachon. Embedded in this month is the ability to have Emuna and Bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and trust in Him that everything that we are going through has a purpose. Hashem promised us Geula will definitely happen. It must happen. It's divine plan, and there's nothing anybody can do to stop it. But it's going to happen either barachamim or chas v'shalom yisurim. But yisurim, understand, comes from the word musar, rebuke. We look at yisurim, of course, who wants it. But yisurim also serve a purpose. They're here to rebuke me. They're here to give me tough love. They're here to tell me, or read, the road you're traveling on in 100 meters from now, there's a pothole. Be careful. Go in another direction. I don't want you to fall. So sometimes that requires HaKadosh Baruch Hu to yank me off my derech, which He did in my particular case. He yanked me off my derech and He says, sorry, no more traveling east, now go west. So I need to hug that reality. And I need to understand that there's foresight that my eyes don't enable me to be able to see. But yet from on high, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is watching my back. He's my tour guide in this world. He's showing me the ropes. He's showing me the town. And He's showing me where I need to go in the most safest and greatest way possible. Something beautiful that's brought down as an insight for this month is that the mazel of this month is Aryeh. Aryeh, if we look back, we're going to look back on the gematria, numerical value of it. Aryeh equals 216, and it also equals the word Gevura and Omek. Why Omek? Why depth? Because the pasuk, the perek of Tehillim for these 9 days is Mima Makim Kraticha HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kraticha Hashem. It is in this month that I find myself in the deepest depths. In fact, David HaMelech, in his divine inspiration, has brought us this perek to be read particularly during these 9 days, so that during these 9 days when we feel like all the darkness has been enveloping us and we cannot see the light, when essentially it's written that there are 10 depths, 10 omeks, 10 depths in this world that pull us in different directions. You've got Tzafon, you've got Darom, you've got north, south, east, west, up, down. You've got 10 different angles. It's during this month that we feel that all 10 angles are coming in and caving in on us. This is the month that I have to, from that, right, go and pray to Hashem, take me out of this pit. Take me out of this darkness, of this place. The Bnei Yisachar brings down another amazing, amazing insight. If you look at Aryeh, which we just said is 216, he calculates that if you take 24 hours in a day times 9 days, you get to 216 hours. Every hour of these coming 9 days, we have the ability to take the Aryeh, to take the Gevura, to take the Dinim, and lift them up and bring down Rachamim. Rachamim? But it's all Din. Let's talk about Plan A and Plan B. Plan A of the 9 days should have been like this. The Meraglim going out, spying and scouting Eretz Yisrael, coming back on the 9th of Av with pom-poms and the band and saying, let's go guys, we're into Eretz Yisrael. Let's go pack up the donkeys, pack up the treasure. We're treading forward to Eretz Yisrael. And they didn't. That was Plan A. And then what should have happened? On the 10th of Av, Am Yisrael should have been singing their way to Eretz Yisrael with their donkeys and with their ladies and with their children, treading towards Eretz Yisrael. And when should they have arrived and stepped foot on the soil of Eretz Yisrael? Tu B'Av, the 15th of Av, 5 days. And on the 15th of Av, the Beis HaMikdash was declared to have been built by no less than Moshe Rabbeinu, Mashiach, who was destined to become Mashiach. And we would have had the ultimate love day on the 15th of Av, marrying Hashem once again with the third Beis HaMikdash, with the first Beis HaMikdash, with the only Beis HaMikdash. But unfortunately, we're now living in the mitziyut, in the reality of Plan B. But don't forget that at the core of these days, there are only compassionate and messages of Rachamim. Embedded in these days are days of Geula. We just have to take away the layers. We just have to go back and say to Hashem, I know the energy of these days is Geula. Bring us back to those days of Geula, be'ezrat Hashem, berachamim gdolim. That's what we need to ask from HaKadosh Baruch Hu these days. Just to end off, another beautiful insight into the amazing holiness of the Jewish soul. How could it be that Am Yisrael, after we came out of Mitzrayim, we merited such amazing miracles, so much beautiful miracles, Hashem's hashgacha, one-on-one. We were back in Gan Eden, face to face. And yet we fell in Egel HaZahav, The Chachamim asked the question, how could it be? Why did we fall? And so the Chachamim bring down that essentially what happened is that the Emuna and the Dvekut, the connection of Am Yisrael to HaKadosh Baruch Hu after Yetziat Mitzrayim was unfortunately not more than skin deep. It was not deep embedded, what we call heartfelt Emuna. There's 3 levels of Emuna. There's Emuna of the brain, intellectual Emuna. There's heartfelt sensory Emuna. And then there's Emuna of the organs. We could talk about that some other time. But essentially, they unfortunately had only what's called intellectual Emuna in their brain. They knew, like many of us struggle with it. I know Hashem loves me, but why does it hurt so much? Why am I in so much pain? Because the Emuna is only in my sechel, and the avoda of every Jewish person is to take that sechel and bring it down to our heart. So the question is, what happened? They had such a superficial level of a relationship to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Chachamim say yes. But the Chachamim go and bring down even something more greater. What happens to the Jewish soul when they don't channel their spiritual energy? I mean, after all, where was our souls carved from? From the Kiseh Kavod. I mean, we're talking big time holiness up there. That is where my and your souls originated from. That's fire. That's passion. That's zest for life. That's waking up in the morning and saying, I'm here to prepare lunch once again for my kids. And I'm here to clean up the mess again, once again for my kids. Simcha. And you want your children to say, Mom, I'm taking out the garbage for you. How's that? Yeah, that's the day. But the idea is that we have all this fire. Boy, do we have fire. There's not a Jewish person out there, whether he knows it or not, that is not on fire. But what happens is if that fire is not channeled, if that fire is not geared towards Torah, mitzvot, and ma'asim tovim, it becomes destructive. And therefore we see that the Jew can either go way up or unfortunately way down. Because if it's not channeled, it becomes destructive. So what we need to remember is that every single one of us is a ball of fire, and we could do so much. Just like what was mentioned before, the power of a tefillah, the power of a yearning, the power of a tear. I'm going to end off with this. Chazal teach us that Esav cried tears when he learned that Yaakov Avinu had taken his bracha. He let out 3 tears. One came out from his right eye, one came out from his left eye, and one stayed in his eye and never came out. It was stuck in his eye. The first tear was keneged the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, the first Beis HaMikdash. The second was the reason why the second Beit HaMikdash was destroyed. And thank you, Hashem, 1,000,000 times over, that third tear never came out of his eye. Because oy lanu, if that tear would have come out. Look at the power of tears. Look at the power of a broken heart. As the Kotzker Rebbe says, there's nothing more whole than a broken heart. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants our broken heart. When I experience in my home a lack of validation from my husband, God forbid, honey, it has nothing to do with you, I'm just saying it, if you're really good, honey. But if I experience a sense of a lack of validation from my husband, I mean, come on. How much do I not do for him? How much do I not do for the kids? Over and over and over again. Do you think I get a good word from him? Do you think I can have him say, thank you, honey? You look great, honey. Is that a new dress you're wearing, honey? Something, honey? Nothing. The Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh teaches us that everything that we experience in our own personal lives is there as a direct reflection to teach us the flaws that we have in ourselves. Every single one of us, whether you have mirrors in your house or not, is seeing constantly a reflection of who they are. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, if I send you a husband who's not appreciative of you, if I send you children who are betraying the Jewish values, who are chutzpah, who are not appreciative, whatever the cause may be, and I know we all have Gog and Magog somehow or another in our homes, it's because instead of pointing fingers, it's time to assume responsibility and say there's something that I need to fix. I don't have a karas hatov to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to someone, to my neighbor, to myself. Maybe I don't appreciate myself. Betrayal? My child is betraying me. She's chutzpahit to me. Or maybe I'm chutzpah to someone else. Maybe I'm nervy and brazen and I don't talk nicely to myself. I'm involved in self-hatred, self-rejection. Maybe to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I don't know. But these are the days that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, come back to me. See the goodness, even in the dinim, even in the difficulty. I'm sending you a personal message so you can elevate yourself and you could become the godly being that you're meant to be. That you can find yourself behind curtain number 1 that's been hiding all along. This is the month that on a physical level, the walls broke down on the 17th of Tammuz. Break the walls down. That's what Hashem wants. A rebuilding of our soul, a rebuilding of character, create new relationships, break down other relationships, redesign the relationship you even have with yourself. Because Emuna begins with Emuna in yourself. If I don't love myself, if I'm not happy with myself, by golly gee, I don't want to listen to the one who created me. I don't want to listen to his big book of laws. It's a burden for me. And that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, when you don't serve me b'simcha, that's the beginning of the destruction. Because there's a big difference when I serve my husband a cup of coffee in the morning, and I say to him, here's your coffee. Or, would you like honey, sugar, half and half, milk? Would you like it light, dark, with a saucer, biscotti, cookie, cake, pound cake, chocolate cake? Isn't there a difference? It's a big difference. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, how are you serving me my mitzvot? Are you serving them to me with a sweetness, with a simcha, or are they difficult for you? So thank you. It's my mother, you see? See? Nothing like a mother. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol nihiya b'dvaro. The idea is, what did I do without my mom? The pom-poms. You didn't bring the pom-poms.
Tells me you're amazing.
The pom-poms. We didn't bring the pom-poms. Where's the sign? Orit Esther Riter. You didn't bring it this time.
All over the computer.
Baruch Hashem. The idea is HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, serve me b'simcha. Serve me with happiness. You know why? Not because I know it's easy for you. Not because I know that what I'm dishing out for you is not difficult for you. But accept it with the understanding and with the trust of only one thing. Emuna is tied to emet, to the Torah HaKedusha. We don't have Emuna. It's not blind faith. Emuna means I trust in what? What do I trust in? In the words of the Torah. And the words of the Torah promised every single one of you sitting out here, Klal Yisrael, that Geula will come. That we're going to be standing on the sidelines when the Geula comes and Mashiach comes and CNN and Fox News, and they're going ahead and they're going to be putting it on all the channels, and we're going to be sitting there on the sidelines with our pom-poms, and we're going to say, you go, you go, you go. I was on the right team all along. I was on the winning team all along. It's going to happen. Hashem says, I want you to trust in that. I want you to trust that you will merit to see final justice and revealed good. Just give me some time to complete history. And when that happens, we're going to see the world in the proper setting, right side up. Right now, we're all upside down. You're all the time like this. You don't even notice it. We don't even notice it. The whole world is upside down. Turn it around and suddenly you'll see the real side of the world. That's what Mashiach's job is going to do. He's going to bring everything and turn it around. So Be'ezrat Hashem, my bracha to me, to you, to Klal Yisrael, is that we should have the zchut in these coming days to do our avoda, to do our tikkun, mend our nituk, mend our separation, come together with a Kadosh Baruch Hu. He's waiting for us. He's our Abba. He wants us. He yearns for us. Now it's time for us to yearn and want Him back too. And we should be zocheh, all of us. I'm not missing out on the invitation to dance in the Bet HaMikdash, in the women's section, b'simcha gedola, with those pom-poms and all, v'karov, v'rachamim, amen. Amen.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.